Can I grab you for 1 second?
Where's the assemblywoman?
Yep. There we go. Scott, come on inside as well. So good evening, everybody. Pretty incredible scene behind us of a potato that has cut loose from the boys club up the river, right? 2 bridges up.
Yep.
Where in fact Jim and Scott were reminding me we were a few years ago witnessing water damage there.
The Sag Street Bridge.
The Sag Street Bridge. This cut loose, and obviously you see a lot of heroism right now trying to pull this out. I want to thank Mayor Scott Luna, who's a great mayor and a dear friend, County Executive Jim Tedesco, Deputy Mayor, Assemblywoman Lisa Swain. We've also got the Sheriff, Tony Curd, Superintendent of the State Police, Pat Callahan, and our emergency guy, Dan Kelly, and the one and only Rob Field. Dan's been in the front office since Governor Christie and Superstorm Sandy, so he's seen all of these storms over these past, what is now going on 14 years. And, you know, we see this with increasing frequency and with increasing intensity. We've invested an enormous amount in resiliency and mitigation, but we're still getting dragged by this. I don't mean just New Jersey, I mean America, probably the world, and this being climate change and Mother Nature. And as Scott was pointing out, this is the 3rd event really in the past 3 weeks. And not only was last night's event a significant one, but it's the cumulative impact of these. Pat and Dan and Rob and I have been on this topic where the ground is saturated. You had packed in snow. I don't think you guys had a lot of snow here. And then we now are looking for an event Friday night into Saturday, which looks more rain than not.
1 to 2 inches.
1 to 2 inches. Last night was more like 3 or 4. And then potentially again next Tuesday, which looks more like a wintry mix, snow and rain mixed. And so we'll keep doing whatever we can. Obviously, our hearts are with the homeowners who are getting whacked by this. We're going to do everything we can to try to qualify for federal money. That's a very high bar, but that doesn't mean we're not going to try. I know you know this, to keep every receipt for every little thing.
Oh, we will, believe me.
Trust me. We were able to get a little creative, Dan, thanks to you, with the last flooding reality. So Dan and Rob and Pat and I will put our pencils to the paper to see if we can. I'm encouraged in the medium to long term by the fact that the Inflation Reduction Act has an enormous, many billions of dollars in resiliency programs, and projects, which ultimately we're probably the biggest winner. 10 or 20 years from now, New Jersey's going to be at the head of the class because of the fact that we're the most densely populated state in America. We've got a lot of shovel-ready, worthy projects. The Saddle River's had this, Scott and Jim know this, had this Army Corps project sitting around for ever and always since '86. Getting that unlocked and on the rails would be a big step in the right direction, and we'll do everything we can. I know Congressman Pascrell is not here, wanted to be here, but I know he'll do everything he can, and we'll keep fighting this. And I would just say to folks, stay well, stay safe, continue, even though it stopped raining. This river has crested, but not all rivers have. So Passaic is not crested. The Raritan, I don't believe, has crested. So folks, don't tempt fate, don't tempt Mother Nature by going down a street which says don't come here because it's flooded, or staying in your house when you feel like the water's rising above you. We've all been on with mayors, literally through the night. I think Rob literally through the night. Lisa, I know you've been doing the same thing. Thank you for your leadership. Congratulations, by the way, on getting the re-up yesterday. Whether it's a Manville or Lincoln Park or Pequannock or Wayne, there are a lot of communities out there that are battling against this right now, including this Lodi, which is, I think, the quintessential Jersey community with a great mayor and a great county executive here in Bergen County. You guys want to add anything?
I'd just like to say, Governor, thank you for coming down.
Can you stand in front of the microphone? Sorry.
Yeah, you may want to.
I want to thank the governor for coming down. He's always been here in our time of need. I gave him a call this morning, and he said I'll be right down there. I want to personally thank this man next to me, County Executive Jim Tedesco. He's been here night with me. His guys have been here, my DPW guys. We've been out here freezing since 7 o'clock this morning, and I always said there's a guy that want to go down in the trenches, man. This is the guy. So I want to thank him and his team for helping us get this boxcar out of our river, So,
Thank you, Mayor. Well, the governor said a lot, and for me, this is about a commitment to helping rectify some of these conditions that exist throughout Bergen County. We're just happen to be here on the Saddle River, but we have the Hackensack River. We have the Ramapo River. We have the Hohokus Brook. We have many, many rivers. And we really need a commitment from our federal legislators all the way down to our state legislators. And our state legislators do a great job of advocating for us to the governor. But at the end of the day, the money comes from the federal government. And we need them to understand that this isn't right for the people of Bergen County and the people from New Jersey. We need a commitment from them. We need to be able to dredge these rivers. We need to be able to get them back. This river is only about 7 feet deep. When it was built, or it was formed, it was twice as deep. It fills up with silt. We have to be able to do something in a comprehensive way to get some relief here for the people in Bergen County and the people in New Jersey. The only way that can be done is with large sums of federal dollars, and the bureaucracy has to go. Because they can bury us in paperwork for years and we'll never see a change. So we stand here today like we stood here 2 years ago, and I stood here for years and years and years as a mayor of Paramus, as a fire chief, as a first responder. And we have to deal with the people. We have to deal with their emotions. We have to deal with them being displaced from their houses, not the people in Washington. So it's time that we get the support we need. And I know Governor Murphy and I know our legislators are going to fight with us to get that done. Thank you.
Lisa, you want to say anything?
Jim, I'm here for you. And I'm here for everyone in District 38 and throughout New Jersey. I just want to emphasize exactly what the county executive said. We do need help. There is so much flooding. I mean, Lodi is particularly bad, but so many of my towns on the Saddle River, on the Passaic River are dealing with massive flooding right now. I just want to thank the governor so much for being here, for recognizing how our residents are struggling every time there's a flood, and it's time. We can't wait years and years and years. So let's get something done. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa.
Governor Murphy, you talked about the plan. Let's talk about that, the short-term plan and the long-term plan. So what's the short-term plan throughout this season, obviously with the weather changing and we have more flooding? But I think the county executive also mentioned something about the long-term plan, about the dredging of the river.
Yeah.
Is that the only thing? Do we need to raise its banks? And then the second part of my question is I want to make sure I point your attention to the Garcia family who's over here. They're crying. She wants to make sure she talks to you. They live right next door, and right where the shipping container is. So they want to make sure they get in touch with you when this is over. So I want to make sure that we represent them as well. But short-term plan, long-term plan.
Well, the long-term plan is what Jim and Scott were referring to, which is there's a Army Corps of Engineers project that dates back to 1986. Yep. And is dredging the only thing that will make a difference? No, clearly not, but it would make a big difference here. So we have to put our heads together once again. Colonel, if there's anything on that you want to add, or you?
It's just, that's part of that huge mitigation effort.
Yeah.
Whether that's drainage pipes that need to be twice the size, whether that's retention ponds. So we're there.
Sorry, can you explain that again? Could you step in front so everyone can hear you, please, sir?
Sorry.
Yeah, we have our recovery bureau has the mitigation unit that's in there. Caution tape's appropriate. And that is projects such as dredging, such as doubling the size of drainage pipes, such as retention ponds, similar to what we did in a water retention space in Hoboken, which takes those waters and funnels them into places away from homes. So it is a comprehensive project, partners with us, DEP, Army Corps of Engineers, that supports us not only here but on our beaches as well. So those efforts are ongoing. If we can get this project off the out of the paper and into implementation with the Army Corps, that would be huge.
In the short term, I think it's a combination of things. One is using our bully pulpit, keeping people safe. To the best of my knowledge, I'm not aware of any deaths or injuries from this storm.
We had none here.
And I don't believe we have any anywhere in the state right now. Please God, it stays that way. So safety and security is job number one. As I mentioned, we're going to do everything we can to try to get to that federal bogey for reimbursement, but that's going to be hard. But everybody should realize that we're doing that. They should save all their receipts, whether you're a town, a county, or a home, or a business. And again, we'll continue to use bully pulpit. We declared a state of emergency here, which is still in effect. We'll do all that we can. Again, job number one is to keep people safe and secure. Anybody else?
Governor, for the people who have damage to their homes in the immediacy, what can they do tonight? Who should they call? Where can they turn to for help that they need sooner than anything that we can get from the federal government?
Yeah, Dan, why don't you come in and just give us a little bit of your wisdom on this? Excuse me.
Thanks,
Dan is the Jack Reacher of our team here.
Sure. No, and the Colonel and his team are helpful here too. In terms of emergency, hey, I'm out of my house tonight, contact your local OEM, see about sheltering options. But in the longer term, in terms of recovering fully from this storm, your homeowners, number one, first stop, if they have flood insurance, go there. Next stop, start documenting whatever damages they have. Submit them to your local coordinators who report up to the county, to the state, and that allows us to make our best case to try and get some kind of federal help to fully recover from the storm.
I know in Passaic County, because they had a need for it, they haven't, thank God, yet in Bergen County. They opened a shelter. That's going to be an option if there's a lot of damage to homes and people can't stay in them. That has not, thank God, been the case so far.
Right now, no.
Everybody else good?
Can you walk us through the timeline of this operation?
What's that?
Can you walk us through the timeline, what happens now with the shipping container, exactly what's happening now, and the timeline for the rest of the evening, please?
For the shipping container?
Yes, sir.
Please, Jim.
So we just finished hooking straps onto all four corners. We put a firefighter down with a suit so that we protected him. He hooked up chains and straps to all four corners. We're now going to run those to the middle, to an apex in the middle, and pick the container up straight. We have a flatbed truck that it'll be turned around, it'll be lowered onto the flatbed truck, and it'll be taken back to the owner's property at his expense.
Sorry, I can't hear you.
How did it get down there?
Yeah.
It was in
was driven.
It was yeah.
Can you talk into the mic, sir?
It was the container was about 2 bridges up by Passaic Street in the parking lot of the Boys Club. And as the water rose this morning, this was part of a project that they're doing at the Boys Club. It's just about finished, and this was the last piece of equipment that needed to be moved. Unfortunately, the water came up probably within about 2 hours. The water rose somewhere between 3 and 4 feet, and it just swept the container quite a distance. And there's a big bend in this river, and it made it through that big bend and crashed in. There was a person here that saw it crash in. He thought it was actually a tractor trailer coming down. Thank God it was only an empty container. Right.
But it gives you an idea of the force of the water. People have said to us over the past 6 years, yeah, but I've got a big SUV. Good luck if water is moving this. Or acquisition. We can't have families see the same movie every other year, forever and for always. So that's going to be.
We have money. The county has money available for Blue Acres, and that's another avenue for people that flood constantly to think about letting us help them relocate with funds that the county has to help them.
Amen.
Governor, can you also explain the decision to declare a state of emergency for this storm versus the flooding that we saw 3 weeks ago?
This was at least as it was predicted, and I think it came in as predicted, a bigger event. But more importantly, it was a cumulative event, as I mentioned a few minutes ago. It was this event on top of the 2 recent ones. When you add all that together, the ground reality, unfortunately, we're seeing exactly what we had expected come true. And we're going to be obviously assessing how we deal with Friday into Saturday and then again next Tuesday. Thank you all so much for having us. I got to meet this family. Lisa, you join me. Love you, buddy. Can I give this back to you?
Well, I'd say you could keep it as a souvenir.
Give it to Callahan.